Hi guys, and welcome back to part 2 of the August 1st update content patch cycle review that I'm going to be doing. And if you didn't know, there was a 1-minute update summary that kind of went over a couple of the changes that I guess were added in the August patch, including some new EEs, an extra Grace of Growth slot, which is pretty self-explanatory, and Festive Ida, among other things, including the ML Ilanov. But we also saw, if you're curious, a new side story, Welcome to Oasis Land, which is really cool because it looks like there's, to give you a little bit of a preview, there's like a Guitar Hero-esque kind of mini game that we have going on. This person kind of sucks at Guitar Hero. No offense, but anyways, or musical rhythm games. But anyways, let's get into the special side story and kind of take a look at it. Only just kidding, because we actually can't see it right now. We will be able to, I guess, identify or see what we have to offer or what the activity has to offer in 6 days, which is cool. Or once it opens up on the 8th of August. It also lasts a month, which I'm assuming means that there might be some, I don't know, some special activity, whether that's rewards or some additional gear farming event, who knows, but Rift is really easy to do right now, so I don't know if that's the case. The other thing that we saw that was previewed was 2 exclusive equipments, and based on what I've seen right now about it, well, to be honest with you, they look pretty spectacular. Now, again, they're not maybe enough to make these characters super broken or anything, but they're likely going to be what a lot of people want when it comes to the actual EEs. The first one is for Lethe, and as you can see, it says increases damage dealt by Call of the Abyss by 10%, increases Call of the Abyss's heal amount by 20%, and then the third one is cannot trigger a counterattack from the enemy when using Freeze Over. To be honest with you, there are a lot of different reasons that you would use any of these. You could obviously have more damage with the first EE. You could increase how much you heal with the second one if you feel like you're in a solo kind of situation. And the third one is also really good because, again, sometimes you want to, again, just, I guess, pair Lethe sometimes with some cleave units. And honestly, doing the S3 or honestly getting hit for any reason is not very, I guess, not very good or very motivating. And it feels kind of bad. But all of these, in my opinion, feel really good, especially when you consider that you also gain the 14% attack or the 14% HP. But now we have to talk about the Bloodblade Cairn EE, which is also pretty cool. This gives you 12% critical hit chance, and there's a couple of variations here which are pretty cool, including Cursed Sword, which is upon reaching lethal damage, grants immortality for 1 turn, can only be activated once per battle. This is kind of interesting because she already has like the whole immortality thing as she loads in, so I guess this is like an additional immortality, which makes her like double as annoying, which is kind of funny. However, I do also think that the others are pretty interesting, including granting yourself attack or greater attack buff instead of increased attack when you use a Blood Art Dragon, which again, sometimes if you need to clean up fights, could be pretty cool and does pretty significant damage, of course, because now it's a greater attack buff instead of a normal attack buff. And then the bottom one, or like the last one, is probably what I assume people that are going to be running Bloodblade Cairn in cleave compositions will likely end up using, which is increasing the damage dealt by Blade Art Dragon by 10%. Now, to be clear, if I'm not mistaken, the way that you obtain the attack buff when you use Blood Art Dragon or Blade Art Dragon is after you use the S3. It's not at the same time, if I'm not mistaken. Otherwise, I don't know why you would include these. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's the case and why it's listed like this. Otherwise, I feel like it's kind of a no-brainer. Why would you not just use the gap? In any case, though, either of these 2 or either of these 3, honestly, any of these 6 EEs look pretty good. And given how many, or how common it is now for people to be doing Hall of Trials, I think these are really solid EEs. Personally, I think I'll likely end up using something like the increased damage one or the gap one, just because it seems like it would be the most annoying. However, I mean, assuming you don't get unbuffable, honestly, the lethal damage one also seems pretty cool for kind of being a solo machine and kind of prolonging fights. Now, again, the price of this is $40, and that's cool. But they also announced a couple other things, including, again, some gacha-related stuff. Elbrus Ritual Sword is coming back to the banner, which is cool. And they also made some adjustments, I guess, to some of the old heroes, Chaos Inquisitor. But that's not really that big a deal. We also have the monthly Molagora pack. Okay, I guess. And okay, the thing that you're probably all really interested in is now we have 2 additional Grace of Growth slots. Now, all you have to do, based on what I see here, is that you have to pay 1,500 Skystones to unlock it. And it looks like, again, it looks kind of cool, but then not really cool, because it says the unlocked slot is available for 30 days and it'll expire. So this is kind of it's kind of neither here nor there. Now, like, obviously you don't necessarily need to do this, and unless if I'm misunderstanding it, it feels a little bit bad for you to have a 30-day second slot Grace of Growth. It's kind of like a slap in the face, to be honest with you, especially since you have to pay for it, and it's not a one-time unlock. However, arguably, if you're someone that's more free to play, you could just completely forego or ignore this. However, it does feel like free to players are kind of having this dangled in front of them. And if you're like a newer player, it probably would feel really bad to see this and have to spend 1,500 Skystones, which is roughly what, like maybe 16 or 17 pulls worth of value just to unlock something for 30 days. This is kind of reminiscent of like, you know, Maple Stories, like, or if you guys aren't familiar with Maple Story has like a pendant or like an equipment slot unlocked for a couple days or for like a couple weeks or a month or something like that, which is what this kind of feels like. The only difference is that you can't endlessly farm for the Mesos or for like the currency in that game or in this game the same way that you would in Maple Story. So the 1,500 is kind of a big L, to be honest with you. I'm not a huge fan of the fact that it costs Skystones at all, outside of it just being a one-time cost. But again, I'm sure that their reasoning will be, oh, well, you don't have to use the Grace of Growth if you don't want to. But again, it kind of feels like we're kind of being spit at a little bit, which kind of feels bad. But traveling to the other things or the other things that they've announced, there's another Hoochie's pop-up shop, which of course probably means that there's something good in the summer event. They're trying to, you know, make you use your Skystones here, which is going to feel a little bit bad. But in terms of what's always valuable, if you're going to be spending leaves on or exchanging energy for Skystones or Skystones for energy, feel free to or always make sure to take or pick up the leaves because it's, I think, a slightly better value if I'm not mistaken, or equal value. Nothing else here is really honestly ever worth it outside of the what is it? The Hoochie like lucky boxes. Outside of that, unless if you're like a whale and want to maybe buy something like the blue boxes, that's something that I know a lot of like gear fiends tend to do. But then there's also a special weekend buff event which is coming up, and yeah, every weekend is basically hump buff at this point. It doesn't really mean anything. And also there's a free unequip event, which makes sense, but also there's, you know, there's hump buff. So yeah. Anyways, there's another pack that they've announced or that they brought back, which is the Terev Island travel pack, which is cool. Costs 900 Skystones, gives you skin tickets and 5 leaves. I actually really like this lobby animation. There's like different variations of the lobbies that you can find, and it transforms or changes based on how many characters you have available. So it's actually one of the illustrations I like the most. But yeah, outside of that, here's the time that you can kind of take a look at if you're curious about when maintenance goes on. I'm not even going to begin to try and figure out what UTC is. Typically, it usually means that it starts at around like 11 p.m. EST for where I am, or 10 p.m. EST for where I am, depending on daylight savings and stuff like that. Stupid Americans. Anyways, yada, yada, yada. I think the patch is cool. I'm excited to see what like the music adjustment or the music changes. I like the 2 EEs. And I, of course, am a big fan of, I guess, whatever this character is going to be. I don't know who she is or what she's going to be about, but I'm excited to see her. Overall, I would say that the patch is roughly maybe it probably would have been an 8 or 7 out of 10, maybe a 6. I'm really not big on the whole Skystone thing, but I don't know. They got to make money some way, which doesn't really make sense even because they're just taking away the currency to kind of make people feel bad. It's not even like you have to pay like $5 one time for it or anything like that. Whatever. And in the case though, guys, that's going to be it for this video. Yeah, pretty cool patch. Got exciting stuff coming alongside Emil Ilinov. Some things are cool, some things are bad. But yeah, make sure to check out the rest of my socials if you enjoyed today's content. Thank you again for watching, everybody. Yeah, make sure to like, comment, turn on the notification bell, and subscribe. I will see you guys all next time. Stay safe, stay healthy. Good night.